Welcome back, Smart Start Radio family. Before we get into our latest amazing episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor. With spectacular hotels, amazing theme parks, and unparalleled entertainment, Universal Orlando Resort offers a meeting destination unlike anything else in the world.
Smart Start Radio, Smart Start Radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Smart Start Radio, Smart Start Radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Starting smart is the action we design. Meeting of the minds, how to fit it.
If you've read one more 2026 forecast and thought, okay, cool, but how does this really impact me? What do I do with this? I get it. It's a lot. So today, I'm going to try my best to cut through the noise. 3 shifts that are actually going to hit your timeline, your room block, your contracts, what you can do about it, starting Monday morning or Tuesday, whatever day you prefer to start this process. What's going on, Smart Start Radio family? I am once again your host in the booth, in the pod, Eming Piansay. And today we're going to recount a webinar we had recently with CEO Mike Dominguez of Alhi, who kind of highlighted what to expect coming in 2026, especially from people who are working in this industry and are interested in creating amazing events. So what's the vibe on this? Well, the pressure points with opportunity. Demand is strong, the system is tight, space, staffing, supplier dynamics, and the real risk isn't the market. We overreact to headlines instead of planning with intention. So here's what we're doing. 3 shifts, 3 actions, and then I'll give you a simple Monday plan. You can run it in under an hour, give or take. So the first shift, meeting space compression. Group demand has rebounded in major U.S. markets, and that's, to be expected a little bit. The issue isn't interest, though, it's capacity. I think I wrote about in one of my older Smart Meeting features for last year, we're not building as many new venues or hotels. Like that has slowed a little bit. So this news makes sense. Renovations and expansions at major convention centers, Dallas and Austin specifically, are temporarily pulling inventory offline. Then layer in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Even if your event isn't a host city, sponsors and executive teams get pulled into that ecosystem. So resources are, a little bit not as, as they usually are because of, all the things that are happening around that. And here's the line that should make you sit up. 12 months of meetings are effectively compressed into 10. That's just, it's a truth. It's not meant to sound dramatic. It's not meant to make headlines go buzzy, but it's a reality that people in this industry need to, realize as they move through this year with intention. So what's the best options? Plan earlier if you can. You may not be comfortable doing that, but it's probably going to be your best bet. So source earlier than usual, essentially is what I'm saying. Or try to frame it as a constraint, not just a budget, because that's a whole different talk with your leadership on how that should go. But bring options, dates that maybe you hadn't offered before, hadn't considered, and just be flexible. Maybe look at a second-tier city next to a bigger metro area. That's a thought. Here's some language that you can incorporate into this. Quote, because 2026 availability is tighter than usual, I'm bringing you 3 date options and 2 space configurations so we protect both attendee experience and leverage. You sound proactive, not reactive, which is probably important because you don't want to sound a certain way when you're trying to negotiate that part of your booking. Okay. Second, what was also noted in the conversation is that the international travel is rebounding, even if despite what we may be hearing on a more broader sense, we are seeing some positive shift in that. We know that roughly 57% of international travelers enter the U.S. through visa waiver programs. That's a pretty big number. But of course, there are still challenges with some international markets, including parts of Asia and India. There's still some issues there, but it's not like a overall blanket crisis that we should be freaking out about because that's probably not what's happening. But here's the actual issue. Logistics can be solid, but if attendees feel uncertain, they'll probably hesitate. So your job as the planner is to clarify, over-communicate. I try my best to over-communicate because I am always nervous of sounding differently than I intend. So I over-communicate to a fault. But in this case, this is probably better for you, your attendees, and whoever you're working with if you over-communicate. Don't just create a simple timeline. Link to, whatever the sources you have that you can provide. Add a list of questions that your attendees might want to know before attending, just so they'll feel less stressed about it if they see that you've acknowledged said things. So basically not hype, not spin, just clean information that everyone understands, is on board about, because ultimately communication is key for everyone. And the less anxious people feel, they'll feel more comfortable coming. So just keep that in mind. The third point is vendor mergers. Increased mergers and acquisitions are happening in all forms. AV companies, DMCs, specialized services providers. Capital is just going wing, wang, wang. It's going everywhere. So there's a lot of changes, but logos are staying the same, but ownership is shifting in a lot of markets. And that can also affect pricing, culture, service. So here's some things you probably should be asking. Who owns your vendors before you renew? Confirm ownership changes in the last 12 months. Ask how it affects pricing, staffing, and on-site escalations. Reread contract terms. I know it's really hard to read the fine print of things, but ultimately that will probably save you a lot of time if you actually go through those, because there are things like the change fees, the cancellations, on-site support levels. All those factors are going to be an issue for you at some point. Just be responsible for what you're able to control. And if you can control it, just be in the know, because ultimately, if you're not in the know on something happens, you're going to be kicking yourself later for it. So just be mindful of that. Okay, team. So before we close out, I have 3 questions for you. 1, if my first choice city and week disappear, what's my plan B and footprint? 2, how can I add attendee communications that reduces international uncertainty? 3, are any of my core vendors in the process of merging with other companies? AV, DMC, production, all those. Ask those questions. Make sure you know. So now that we've kind of covered those 3 points, I hope this kind of gave you some more insights into this coming year, what you should be expecting. Compression is real. Just remember that. Source early and be flexible. Mergers are a thing. Ask who owns your vendors and protect yourself in a contract, because that's always an issue. And international travel isn't broken. And the bounce back in travel internationally is happening. Just make sure you communicate to your attendees the situation or what is happening or isn't happening, just so they're clear, you're clear, and everyone will be good. Once again, thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Coffee Chat. I'm Eming Piansay. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. A small start radio. Small start radio. Ready, say, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Starting smart is the action we design. Meeting other minds, how to better use our time. Leading, interceding, proceeding, they divine. If believing, they can see it, so I'll close on.
You've been listening to Smart Start Radio, a Smart Meetings production. Interested in being our next guest? Connect with us at editor@smartmeetings.com.